Hey there, we are at episode 55. So it's been 2 months since my last video. The last one I did was after Jennifer passed away. I have really been going through it up until now. I guess a month of grieving pretty hard. I stayed pretty sober, more sober than I ever have with anybody else. I've never been able to stay sober at all after a big loss in my life. So I'm really proud of myself for trying to commit to getting through that as sober as possible. I did. It only used when I got to the point where I couldn't sit in that pain. It was pulling me into a deep, dark depression place, and I used it to pull me out, to keep me afloat, to just get through it here and there, which worked for me. Not saying that that's a good idea for anyone, but it's what worked for me. It's what I could handle. Realistically, like when something happens, my brain is just like, this is the solution. This is the solution. It will help. And I knew that wasn't going to help. But at the same time, I couldn't let myself go in that hole. If I got deep enough in that hole, I was never coming out, kind of thing. When my grandma passed away, I went into that hole for 9 years. And, it took me into the darkest places of addiction that you can go. So I'm really happy that, I put it down. I've been clean almost a month now. A couple more days will be a month clean. So I'm really feeling really good. I really got a lot out of my reflection. So usually in times of when I'd be using for the euphoria effect, it would all be about the euphoria, and I would just hyper focus on that. This time I didn't do that. I was using because I was sad. I was feeling low. There's a lot of emotion going through me, and I really just wanted to make sure that I was being vigilant of that, and like I was still sad when I used, but I was able to handle it. I used that time instead for reflection on my life, reflection on where it was going, my choices, and why I'm stuck the way I am. And you know what? I got some really good things out of that reflection time. I was able to I just let my thoughts run. I didn't stop them. I just let them run and go, and wherever it was taking me, I'd let it happen instead of stopping myself. And I have to do this, and no, we were just going to let it happen. And because of that, I had to see my life for the truth of what it was. My life was the way it was because I let it be that way. I made bad choices when I was weak, and I knew the consequences to the actions, but I really didn't care. That part of me didn't care, and mostly because I wasn't 100% confident that my life was going anywhere. I felt stuck for a long time, but I had to come to terms with a lot of truths. Coming to terms with the truths of my life really helped me be able to let things go and move forward. Honestly, I didn't want to move forward. I didn't care. I didn't believe in anything after she died. I was just thinking I was here to suffer, and thoughts of just giving up was running through my head. And I'm like, this is just going to be my life. I'm just going to suffer and suffer and suffer, and life will never get better. And all those negative thoughts. But weird thing happened. Even though I didn't believe it, even though I didn't have no faith, I felt like I had nothing to move forward for. I was still in that grieving process, taking active steps through my sobriety, very slowly, but I was moving forward. I kept my counseling going. I knew that I knew my feelings were going to change. I knew they were going to ease off at some point. And even though I didn't believe that at the time that anything mattered, I wouldn't let myself stop. I still made those phone calls. I still initiated the channels I needed to keep my recovery going, because I don't know. Honestly, at that time, I didn't know why I was doing it, but I was doing it. So that's a good sign. On some level, I knew that that's still what I wanted, and I wasn't giving up on myself, which was a big deal. These are the changes you look for in recovery. Waves or pattern cycles, thoughts starting to change. That's the beginning. That's the beginning stuff you see when you're moving into recovery and things are starting to take effect. And your brain is like, hey, we have new different things to cope, and we got to keep moving forward. Those are the things we want to look for. So it's amazing that I still did it. Those thoughts were there, and it made me realize that I'm clearly still know where I need to be. I just couldn't implement my plan during a time of grieving. Like I said, I from this book, Staying Sober, that I got from the last rehab, even though I was only there for a week, I got the answer to my question, what I needed to do, why I was stuck. I found everything I needed in this book. When I came back, I knew that I had to create a plan, implement it, and move forward. And then all the deaths happened, and then the grieving process, and I couldn't do anything about that at that time. I had to grieve. I had to move forward. It was too difficult to focus on that kind of stuff when you're just in pain, losing somebody. It was hard. But the day came where I could get out of bed, felt a little better, and I'm like, here we go. We've grieved, and we went through it. We were ready to pick up the pieces and start again. And this time is going to be the last time. I felt that with my soul. I felt it with every inch of my body. I still had drugs left. This time, didn't do them. Walked away, threw out all my crap. I've never been able to do that before. So, am I happy? Fuck yeah, I'm happy. I'm happy because that's something that I never thought I could do. I really, because based on this book, says that the best way to put off post-acute withdrawal, which was one of my biggest problems, is relaxation, not letting yourself get stressed out and overwhelmed. Now, theoretically, I was doing all the right things before. Theoretically. But I was mimicking other people's recovery, expecting my recovery to look, if I did all those things that they were doing, they stay clean, I was going to do that. Well, not really taking into account my addiction and is different. My recovery is going to look different, and it's not going to be exactly like someone else's because everyone's varies. I had to come to terms with that and let go of trying to make it look like a certain thing. Going from meeting to one end of town to the other to do all this stuff when I was living in London, I was stressed out. I was stressed out taking the bus. I was stressed out being late. I was so stressed, and stress is one of the biggest contributors to keeping your old ways of thinking going and your cycle going and your using going, and it all takes you back to the same place. So here I am doing all this stuff to mimic other people's recovery, and yes, it's helping them, but it's not helping me because I'm keeping myself in that stress state of mind. It says right in the book. It's not going to happen, so I realized that it was time to let all that go. My recovery is going to look very different than other people's. Everyone's is going to look different. So we're not worrying about mimicking anyone else's anything anymore. What matters is as long as I'm doing the right thing for me, as long as I'm sober, as long as I'm moving forward, that's what's important. Doesn't matter what techniques or even resources I'm using, as long as that's happening, that's all that matters. I had to be truthful about that. I had to be truthful that, I saying my life is shit, so of course it was shit. Our words are power. Our lives are what we say they are. This negative self-talk, the shame, all that, keeping those cycles going. So not only did I pray and pray and pray to the God of my understanding and a power greater than myself, but I knew I couldn't do this alone. And I needed clarity, and I got my clarity. And after I got that, everything just fell into place really fast. I realized that here I am complaining about my life when I'm doing the bare minimum to keep my recovery going when I'm not focused on what really matters. So what did we do? Like I said in the book, act. Action. A plan of action is what I needed. So I've worked on for the last few weeks has been all about designing a recovery plan for me, best suited to me. So I mapped out my goals, my long-term, short-term throughout the year, my 3 months, my 6 months, my year, what I want by year end. And I'm still a blueprint design, if you will, of my recovery. Everything I want to do, my loose ends. What do I need to take care of? What programs do I need to do to handle these? I signing up for stress management, anger management, impulse control. Those are my biggest things that I have trouble with, and those contribute a lot to my using. So we're going to get these handled. I designed a financial plan. I designed my outside of my recovery goals, how they work into my overall goals, what costs are associated with them, what steps are needed to take to get to those points, timelines. I still am working on my financial one right now. And after I got all my information together, then I can design, and then know my limitations was a big one. Know what I can actually handle. Know it's going to be too much. How many hours can I commit to these per week? Signed up for an 8-week recovery program as well. I'm going back to rehab at Westover. I decided to go back to my original rehab, and they're really great working with me right now. And that's going to really help me get my base strong. And then I have an aftercare program set up, and I literally just been on the phone for days, just organizing everything. And I'm really confident moving forward. Not only that, I've been happy every single day. I've been ecstatically happy. I've had frustrating moments, but I've been able to handle them. So when I have my frustrations or triggers now, instead of letting them ride or repressing them, I address them right away. If someone argumentative or something happens to me, and then if through another person, I sit down with them, I talk it out. I don't let it fester. When I'm feeling frustrated, I do something relaxing for me. I take a hot bath, meditate, yoga, whatever it is. I keep my stress level, I bring it back down. And it's working. It's making those thoughts go away. And simple enough, but it was me being in my own head. My way of thinking was tainted. It was very jaded by what I've experienced. I really didn't see it that way. I believed everything the way it was prior. Like, I believed those things were right. I believed there was nothing wrong. I believed it was everyone's fault, kind of thing. My perception was very, very off. Being honest with myself was a way to let all that go and see things for how they really are. And I am to blame for a lot of my problems. I am the cause of and solution to my problems. So with that being said, I am addressing all my problems. I'm being honest. I'm looking at them openly. And not only that, I have the willingness and open-mindedness to attack this problem and really aggressively come at it from all sides and start moving forward. I got a sponsor again. I got a home group. I joined the activities committee so I can do service. I want to be of service to others. I want to help others. So that is going well. And I started step work. From my 12-step program, it's really paying off. I've made a lot of progress, probably more progress in the last almost 4 weeks now than I have in the last 4 months, probably in the last year and a half. I make sure that I'm committed every day, at least from the time I wake up on my days that I have committed to getting my stuff in order. I have X amount of hours per day. I put towards this. I map out my goals. Each day, I'm back at the gym too, working out, getting my body back to a healthy state. So I'm making sure to maintain a balance. Everything gets attention, but now I have to prioritize what is most important, what is time sensitive, what needs to be done at a certain time to keep that recovery machine moving forward. I use my hyper-focusedness now to focus on my recovery things, because my recovery has to come first. I was letting too many things get in the way, expecting it to sort itself out. Recovery is going to knock on my door and here's your year sober when you've done nothing to earn it. No, that's not the way it works. So, but you know what? This is how it goes. This is how our literature and our 12 steps programs say it always is for people coming in. You have to come to these conclusions. You have to figure this out. Like there's a learning curve and I'm right where I'm supposed to be. So I really feel empowered right now. I feel strong, and I feel there are things that have happened in the last couple of weeks where I was able to say no, where I was able to move those thoughts away. And the best part is, so the euphoria part usually always got me. They call it your euphoric recall. That's when your brain reminisces, if you want to say that, about the getting high part, the 30-second rush that comes with getting high for me, and then I won't be able to stop thinking about it, and I'll think about all the goodness of it, even though, and neglect all the negative things that come afterwards. My brain just wants to place that on a loop until that's all I can think about. Something amazing has happened. When that goes through my head now, it's immediately followed with a train of negative thoughts. Everything that bad that happens after it doesn't hyper focus on the 30-second part anymore. It's the not sleeping, not being coherent, canceling plans on others, not being able to participate in a lot of things, being sketchy as fuck, the damage it does to my body, the way I feel when I do it. All these thoughts run into my head after that 30-second rush thing, that glorification part, and that's really helped. Like, it's really helped. That's never happened before. It's never been like that, and that's what I really struggle with. So this is great. This is amazing. I know I'm doing all the right things, and I have faith that it's all going to work out. And it's not even that I think or I say, if I stay sober this time and if it works out. No, it's going to happen. I'm going to stay sober this time. That's just the way it is. I'm positively manifesting the life I want and know that I can do this. I believe I can do this, and there's no question about it. I'm speaking of it as it's already happened, because to me, there is no other choice. This is it. This is the moment my entire life changes, and I couldn't be any more happier. This is what I've been searching for. This is what I needed. And, you know, they say death transforms us, and it really has. Losing Jennifer, I know it's as horrible as it was, made me, changed everything for my life. I really feel that this is now the next chapter beginning, transitioning to where I wanted to be for this whole time. You know, I got stuck in this transition for a long time because, you know, it was very graded, and holding on to old ideas and ways of thinking kept me stuck. So now being able to accept that and know that is so freeing, so incredibly freeing. And I am now experiencing the benefits from doing the right thing, from thinking the right way. And, you know, it's a lot of work, but nothing comes for free, and it's going to pay off. Before you know it, I'll have my 1 year clean. Before you know it, I'll be back in school. Before you know it, I'll be working again. And before you know it, I will be back on my feet and living a life I want to live, and being able to help those in my position, because I went through it and I worked hard to get there. I have no doubt about that. I want to bring as many people out of that darkness as I can, and it's good to know that in the future I'm going to be able to I'm going to be stable enough to be able to maintain my sobriety and help others. So honestly, there's so many good things going on in my life right now that I can't even list them all, because this would be an hour-long video. Let's just say life is great. I feel blessed. I have a lot of people to thank for that, but I also have myself. I'm putting in the work. I'm proud of myself. I'm so happy and blessed to have all the support and love of the people around me that has helped keep me lifted throughout the bad times and not let myself fall in those cracks, because I have all that support, and I'm finally learning how to use it, which is amazing. And I'm throwing that support back at the loved ones that I have in my life, and you know, and we have that back and forth, and those are the kind of relationships I've wanted in my life for my entire life. I have all the right people there, and I love them to death, and honestly, we're just going to keep going from here. So expect great things from my next video, because we're only going up from this point. So thank you for following me. Thank you for my watchers who support me. Thank you for the messages, for the people that reach out and check on me, see how I'm doing. Every single person in my life, whether you're here all the time, not here all the time, check in once in a while, all that helps me. I have you to thank for it. And thank you very much for that support, because without you all supporting me, I wouldn't be able to do this on my own. God bless. And we will see you back soon.